hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Ask Steph. I'm Stephanie Lillian, and every week I answer your yoga and meditation questions. This week, the question of the week is, how can I improve my posture? That is an awesome question as always, and today I'm here to give you a couple of stretches and strength moves to help you improve your posture. Before we jump into that though, let's take a look at what usually happens when our posture begins to kind of sag down and we kind of start to feel a little tired and weak in the body. Generally, the big areas of the body that begin to fatigue and in turn hurt our posture are the neck, the chest and shoulders, and the core, back body, possibly even the hips. So a lot of big areas there. But to start, generally, if you find yourself sitting a lot during the day or alternatively standing a lot during the day, the muscles fatigue and in turn our posture begins to slouch down. If we're looking at a computer, we begin to try to look a little closer towards the computer screen or book or whatever we're doing because the eyes fatigue, so that will put strain on the neck. Of course, we try to start sitting or standing nice and tall, but those muscles get tired, so we begin to hunch over because it's just easier to be like that. Also, possibly the low back begins to sag, especially if we're standing all day. So we kind of find this tucked nature in the body, shoulders curling and chin jutting out. So that's usually what happens on a big picture when our posture begins to kind of sag and when our body begins to get tired. So when we are looking to counteract that, we want to strengthen certain areas of the body and also stretch them out so we can release the muscles a bit that are getting fatigued. So let's work our way down the body. To start, I'd like to offer you a couple of neck stretches. So for stretching out the neck, there's so many ways you can do it. You can do it sitting, standing, however you'd like. I'm going to do it standing for the purposes of our time together today, but you can do these seated. You can join me if you'd like. So a couple of ways to stretch the neck is simply dropping one ear over towards the shoulder. Now when you do so, you want to pull the opposite shoulder down away from that ear. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can lift the hand by the side or even just gently place the hand on the side of the head. Notice I'm not yanking and tugging, just placing the hand on the side of the head. And you can do this on each side, so this will really give you a nice long stretch along the sides of the neck. On the other side, you can go front and back with the neck. So you can curl down, just allowing the head to hang with the chin coming in towards the chest. And of course, through all these stretches, we want to breathe deeply and breathe through the body. From there, you can lift the head up and maybe simply drop the head back. You can even add some motion by just kind of doing neck circles, going to one side and the other, or doing a complete circle going all the way around. This is an amazing way to begin to wake up the neck muscles and allow some openness within the upper back and shoulders as well. From there, let's start moving down the body. So one of those areas that easily fatigue and hurt our posture is the upper back and the chest. More so, we want to bring strength into that area because if we're standing or sitting all day, we want our muscles to be able to keep us supported. So again, usually we find that curving of the upper back when we fatigue or get tired with the posture. So we want to begin to strengthen that area. So the first thing I'd like to offer you to strengthen the upper back and chest are simply like chest presses. You can do this standing, sitting, or laying down. So you'll bring your arms to cactus arms, so 90-degree angles. Big inhale, and on an exhale, you'll bring the elbows towards touching, and when you do so, you'll find this arching of the upper back as you squeeze the pecs, the chest, towards each other. On an inhale, you'll open up and then squeeze the elbows towards the back body, so squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other along the back, and this will strengthen the back. So on the exhale, you come forward, squeeze those pecs in the chest. On an inhale, you open up, squeeze the shoulder blades along the upper back. And you can do this as many times as you'd like. If you want to add a little bit extra heat and fire into this to help strengthen the core while you're doing that, you can come into what's known as chair pose. So you'll bring the feet hips distance, all 10 toes point forward, knees stay stacked over the hips, and you sink the booty back. So if you can't see your toes, that means your knees are too far forward. You just want to sink the hips back. Same thing, low belly pulls in and up. Arms come to this cactus arms. On an exhale, Bring those elbows towards touching. Inhale, elbows pull back, shoulder blades go towards meeting along the midline of the back. Again, exhale, inhale. So this is an awesome way to begin to strengthen the upper back and the chest to help lift that spine up and improve your posture. So just like with the upper back, the back as well, the mid, the low back, and the core are vital areas of the body to improve your posture over time. So the back is what keeps our spine nice and tall, elongated. The core is what keeps rather than dipping into the low back, it keeps us supported and our low back nice and tall. So to work the core, similar thing. You can do the standing or in chair posture. If you want to do the standing, you'll just add a soft bend to the knees so the legs are active. Hands can be by your sides. If you are ready and you want to work a little bit further, the hands can be up the upper arms by the ears. And on an exhale, you'll simply lower towards making your upper body parallel with the ground beneath you. On an inhale, slowly lift back up. On an exhale, you lower, and an inhale, lift. So if you're doing this with me, try that one more time. Exhale, lower. When you're lowering, you're using the strength of the back and the core. On your inhale, you'll lift using the strength of the core and, of course, the back. Arms can come by the sides. If you want to do the same thing with a little extra work in the lower body, you can sink that booty back and make your way to chair pose and do a similar thing, lowering on an exhale, and inhaling, lifting the core back up. And you can do that as many times as you like. That's a surefire way to get the core and the back body strong so you can help improve your posture. The final pose that I want to share with you is kind of all in one, from working the core, so the abdominal muscles, the back muscles, and starting to work into those hip flexors. So I'm going to take a seat on the ground. This next pose is Navasana, or boat pose. So awesome way to begin to improve your posture and strengthen the muscles that are necessary for having a nice, strong posture. So if you're flowing with me, take a seat on your mat, and then on your next inhale, you're just going to lean back so much so that the feet lift up off the ground. So you can do this lots of different ways. First option is simply keeping those feet lifted, knees bent. Now, if this is feeling like too much in your body, you can definitely grab a hold of the backs of the thighs, but try to keep it nice and light because you really do want the core working here. Couple of tidbits before we move forward. As you're here, again, we're working on improving the posture, right? So we want that nice, long back body. A lot of the times when we come into this posture and we're working on strengthening the core, we begin to sag. So we begin to curl in this posture, something like this, just trying to keep our bodies lifted. So we'll put a lot of pressure into the low back and strain the upper back. So when you're in this pose, I want you to think pulling the heart towards the ceiling and the belly button towards the front of the room. Look at all that length I just gained in my back body. So this is a great place to start. If you want to play around with this posture, you can totally add some movement. So maybe you exhale, lower a foot, inhale, back up and switch. You can also add some oblique work by twisting side to side. If you're ready to go full force into this posture, maybe you straighten the legs, hands reach out by the sides, and you pause. Low belly pulls into the spine. Again, the heart shines up, belly button pulls forward, the back is nice and long. So this is a great place to start for working into your posture. All of these poses stretch and strengthen those big muscle groups that keep that spine nice, tall, and long, and help your body to stay supple and strong and in an awesome posture throughout the day. So let me recap for you before I let you go. If you really want to start to improve your posture, incorporate these into your daily routine. First of all, start with some neck stretches. Go in all the different angles and make sure you breathe through those stretches. Soften the jaw and shoulders when you're there. From there, begin to work down the body. So start with the strength in the chest and the upper back, doing those cactus arms, chest presses. Going forward and back, and you should really feel the chest and the upper back working when you move in those opposite ways. You can do this standing, sitting, laying down, even in chair pose for a little extra fire in your practice. From there, we move down, so core and back body, working by lifting and lowering either with the hands up or by your sides, the torso forward and back, and moving slowly so you can really begin to feel those muscles working. When you do that, make sure the spine is nice and long, and we're not sagging down into it, but finding that beautiful posture of that nice lifted spine. Again, you can do that standing with soft bent knees or in chair pose. Last but not least, boat pose, sitting on the ground, either with those knees bent or legs extended, but really working on pulling that belly forward, lifting the chest towards the ceiling, and finding that nice strong core. Again, make sure you breathe through all of these postures. We're here to be with the body, stay with the breath, and come back to here and now. So I hope those help you on your journey to improving your posture. More than anything, find love for where you're at today, because you, my friend, are perfect just as you are. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for sharing your time with me here today. Namaste.